Mike Dolson,
I'm here.
Tom McDonald,
Here.
Jennifer Finley,
Here.
Jim Molitaire, Carol Langford. Here. Danielle Matt. Here. Bing Matt. James Steele Jr. Martin Charlo,
Present.
Len Tuteeth,
I'm here.
Lenny Strahan.
Tom, will you pray for us this morning, please?
Creator, I want to thank you for this beautiful day. I'm going to pray for all those that are traveling today, that they travel safe. I'm going to pray for all those that are ill, they become well. I want to pray for those that have lost loved ones. I want to pray for all those that put themselves in harm's way for our people, but for all of our country, and for all the people around the world. So I want to pray for good decisions today. Give us insight. I pray for all those children at school today. They have a good day at school. We do all this in your name. Amen.
Well, we have minutes from last Tuesday, I believe, September 16th. Look at those, please.
Chair.
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. On the resolution to approve new signature authority staff for tribal credit. Actually, I voted opposed. I didn't abstain. I voted opposed. Thank you.
Motion to approve. Motion by Martin to approve the September 16th minutes. Second by Tom. All in favor? We're unanimous. Jennifer. We do have an agenda for today. Any additions? 2 walk-ins? Martin? If there's anything else, I'd entertain a motion. Motion by Carol, second by Tom to approve the agenda with additions. All in favor? We're unanimous. Who's our first walk-in, Jen?
It'll be Francis Pierre.
Right, come on up, man. Good morning.
Morning. I just stopped by to see what you guys decided on what I brought up last week.
I haven't got a report back yet to get to you yet, Frank. I've got the word in, but I haven't got a report back yet, so.
Okay.
But I will.
All right. I'm having trouble hearing when I was shooting rifles with my son. I don't know if I should bring this up, but been trying to get some dentures through tribal health. And it's been over a year now. And I've been going, hoping to progress further and further. Last time I was there, I asked what I was doing there, and they said to clean my teeth. So I asked about how's it going with my dentures, and she didn't have an answer. So the dentist come back, and he was talking to me, and he was telling me that how understaffed and overworked they are down there, and if I was not satisfied with the way mine was being handled, that I should probably seek other ventures. So I went ahead and I went to Dr. Bagnell, and he's been working with me pretty good, but I don't know how long, payment situation is going to be or anything. So I didn't know how, I didn't know that our people were, that bad of health, to take so long for them to get their teeth worked on.
I know it's hard to get an appointment at times. Tom, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I went through a period where I was trying to save some of my teeth, and they were putting caps on them and doing different and doing a bunch of root canals that Tribal Health wouldn't do at that time. I went to Dr. Pack now and got good service, and the payment plan worked pretty good, but it was worth paying that out of my own pocket, definitely to take care of my mouth. So I applaud you for doing that, Frank. That's something you should really continue to do.
Excuse me, but I have Humana and Medicaid, and
Good.
I didn't know, how much they're going to pay for that. But I was hoping that if the tribe could pick up the rest of it, I'd really be happy.
I don't know that connection. I'll have to find that out.
Okay. Well, I don't want to waste your guys' time. I see you're busy.
Thanks for coming. Who's we got next?
Dana and Michael, yeah, Bridge.
Morning, welcome. Come on up. Here.
Can you hear me? Is it on? Okay, good morning. I have Michael Bridge here. He is going to introduce himself and his organization and what he'd like to share and offer a couple of programs here with the tribes for us. So thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, Dana. My name is Michael Bridge. I'm with Sweetgrass Consulting. Thank you very much for taking some time with me today. I brought some handouts. That way I don't have to spend too much time talking about my organization, but we do research, database building, strategic planning for rural communities and predominantly with Native nations. I have never had the opportunity to work in this area, but we've worked a lot with the Blackfeet, with the Crow, and with the Northern Cheyenne, all east of here, obviously, and with Nimipu and Lapwai, Idaho. You could probably tell I'm not from here, born and raised in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. I've lived in Greeley, Colorado for the last 17 years. The opportunity I bring today, and I know you all are used to seeing a lot of bald white guys, and they're usually salesmen, and I can assure you I'm not a salesman. Tribes come to us generally. We fill out proposals based on RFPs, and we win them or lose them. Native nations that have worked with us a lot oftentimes try to continue that relationship. But it's a little bit different today, and that's why I'm here. 2025 was supposed to be our best year ever as far as income, as far as new relationships, as far as bringing on new employees to expand in different areas and topics. And just like a lot of you all know, the beginning of the year started out very rough. We lost 8 to 12 contracts and people that were close to creating contracts and then just ghosted, some people because they had to reallocate funds for other things. With that, we decided just to be honest and vulnerable, and we reached out to 10 or 12 of our closest clients and friends that we've known and worked with for even before we were a company. We've been a company for 11 years. We reached out to those folks just to say, hey, this is the situation. It's not looking good. We know it's not looking good for you all. If you all have a lifeline, if you have small projects we can do, just let us know. And a lot of folks that we know, hey, prayers to you. It's really bad for us too. We'll keep in touch. Folks like some folks from Cheyenne River Reservation, South Dakota, we worked with a lot. Yeah, we got some small projects. A big nonprofit firm that we've worked with for 2 very small projects in the last 6 years. They reached out to us and said, send us your financials. And that was a little sketchy. I don't know about all that. But we were like, what do we got to lose? This is a terrible situation. So we sent them our financials. They said, okay, what projects were you going to work on that tribes won't have access to anymore because federal government funding was cut? And we were of various different projects. We were going to start on some housing needs assessments with pueblos in New Mexico. And pertinent to you all, we were going to start on a couple food sovereignty assessments with tribes in Montana and a clean energy assessment with tribes in Montana. Y'all might know the $7 billion clean energy fund was cut. And there's over 400 million that was supposed to go to tribes that's still in Capital One Bank right now, and the feds are suing Capital One to make them give that money back. We were already in the books to do food sovereignty assessments with some of that 400 million. All of that cut. Long story longer, and thank you all so much for your patience. My daughter says I'm a yapper, and I apologize for that. That organization that looked at our books, and then they asked us what tribes are missing out on due to funding cuts. They got back with us after we gave them the list and said, we will fund 21 studies for you, including a food sovereignty assessment and a clean energy assessment for every Native nation in Montana. So I've never worked with the Salish Kootenai tribe. But I reached out to Jordan and I reached out to Dana, just cold calling to let them know about that opportunity. So that is the opportunity today. I'd be glad to talk more about it, but it's a fully funded food sovereignty assessment for the Salish Kootenai tribe and a fully funded, more low scale clean energy assessment as well.
Any questions or remarks?
Yeah.
I'm wondering what a food sovereignty assessment is.
Thank you, Mr. Dolson and Miss Lankford, thank you. Okay, we've done these assessments with various different nations, and what we generally do is we'll do a survey to community members, and then we'll also interview producers, retailers, just people engaged in food. People engaged in food-related programs such as Dana, such as for Salish Kootenai, it would be people involved with the Buffalo Range as well, to get a full picture of the various different foods that are grown, the various different foods that people want but they can't have access to. So everything that exists and the gaps of what doesn't exist, and then talk about connections that could be created to make those things happen. We like to think in a holistic way, so not just about food, but what else is related to food? Well, the school systems. When tourists and guests come in, are there foods and agritourism that could be created based on the Buffalo Range or something like that to bring in other sources of income? So we put those pieces together of what exists, what doesn't exist, what you all would like to exist, and then also recommend different partners and stuff to fill the gap. We also do financial assessments as to, estimates of what those types of things will cost, but also the types of health and well-being and dollars that it could circulate in the community.
Go ahead, Danielle.
I guess would this include access to food? When I say that, we have some rural towns throughout the reservation where there's no grocery store where there's nowhere to even go buy a dozen eggs and a gallon of milk. Those are the people that struggle the most, especially with our homelessness population that's on the rise, and getting them out of those rural communities and somewhere where they actually have access to food. Is that something else that would possibly be in that study?
Yes, food access, how far people are traveling to get nutritious food, how much people are paying, ways that can start to be mitigated through growing and, utilizing buffalo or tribal cattle herds and things of that nature. Of course, a lot of people in this area, specifically in the Pacific Northwest, includes fisheries and things as well too. And keep asking these types of questions, but I can only answer for what we've done thus far. I say that because if we were to sign a contract with Salish Kootenai, we're going to be including you all's ideas. So we might even include things we haven't done yet.
Who is the funder?
They prefer thus far to be to be named an angel investor.
Tom and then Carol.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's good to meet you, Michael. Congratulations on this angel investor. Have you codified any arrangements with any of the other tribes in Montana?
Yeah. The Blackfeet, we're not doing a food sovereignty assessment with because we did that last year with them. We're starting the research process. I'll be there in the next 2 days and Monday, starting their clean energy assessment. The Northern Cheyenne has kicked off their food sovereignty assessment, and the Crow has kicked off their food sovereignty assessment. And again, the reason those three started so quickly is because we have strong, long-running relationships with them.
Did you see you're from Loveland? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Did you attend the North American Bison Summit?
I did, and I think that was in Denver, right?
It was in Loveland.
No, I did not attend that.
Do you have your angel investor? Do you have a document that we could see? What is the deliverable to them?
Yes, I do. I don't have it in hard copy, but I'd be glad to send that to any and all of you all. Yeah.
So in order for you to engage in this study, we need to concur, and you have to actually codify something with us.
Mm-hmm.
And then you relay that to angel giving.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a time frame?
They were saying 1.5 to 2 years, but I do not think at all that they're going to be, if people need to take more time to make decisions and things, because these studies, once they start, take us about 10 months from start to end. But I don't think deadlines are going to be an issue. I mean, this organization has a heart and works with a lot of Native entities throughout much of the West, so I don't think they're going to have an issue with that.
What is an example of an energy survey?
It's similar to the questions that I asked that I answered about food sovereignty. So looking at access, looking at resources, how much people pay for energy and such, ideas that the tribe may already be working on towards clean energy development, or maybe not. Maybe people don't want clean energy development. So just looking at those, what exists, what doesn't exist, and ways to start making things happen, and costing out what some of that may cost, and looking at savings and things as well.
When you engage in your $70,000 per tribe, that's the cap, I'm assuming.
It's the food sovereignty are right around 80,000. And whoever is going to be our lead partner with the tribe would get 7,500 for administration and to help market the study and such. The clean energy, I think it's about 44,000, and you all would get 2,500 for yourselves for administration and things of that nature.
Is there any subcontracting members of our tribe that perform the study other than that indirect fee?
No. However, we are always more than welcome. We welcome if locals want to get involved in hiring locals to assist and things of that nature. And that would come out of the 80,000 that we would receive, or for the clean energy, the 44,000 that we would receive, we would subcontract out of those dollars. Yeah.
Do you have a blank document we could look at for the agreement?
Not on me in my laptop in the vehicle. I can send it to you all within an hour after this meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Right, Carol?
Guess I don't even know where to start. You know, seems like we always have people coming in wanting to use us for benefit. And I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I think a lot of things that you're talking about, I think we can do pretty much ourselves or have done. And so any information that you do gather will be, I think, kind of sketchy, even though our members are well versed on, what they like and what they don't like. But I think as a tribe, we're pretty good at developing for ourselves because we know our people. And somebody from the outside comes in and thinks they can do this stuff really well, and they get us a document and we find that it doesn't even fit us. It doesn't even look like us. And so I'm skeptical about this whole thing. The angel stuff, I mean, who in this day and age, right now, with all the craziness that's going on, and like I said, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but it just doesn't sound on the up and up to me. Because it's not even a lot of money, 70,000. And so, but this is just me. I mean, I've heard tribes for years say, yeah, the federal government's just using us to study us and do this and that. And the outside world's making money on us. So anyway, I just wish you well, but I don't know if I can support this at this time because I don't have enough information. I don't even see except this document. And I see you did work with the Fort Belknap. My husband's from there. So I know a lot of people there. But yeah, I'll go through your document here and kind of make a decision at that time.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Ms. Linkford. I respect that type of caution, hesitancy, realism. I hope that you all take as much time as you need. And, for Fort Belknap, for example, if you see names on the list of people we work for, make sure you give them a call, and see if you're thinking about, looking into our services, give people a call and see what they think. A lot of the reports aren't public because when we finish a study, it's the study and the data and everything that comes out of it is property of whoever we're working for. So, however, the ones that are public, for example, when the Oglala Lakota did their food study in 2022, it's public. So you can go right on our website and read it. And that would be an example of what you all would receive.
Go ahead, Martin.
And we have because of people kind of coming in and trying to take advantage of our people, I guess. We have an IRB process that we go through the college, and we also have an internal one. So definitely would like him to connect with Matea Grant. And then because anytime you're interviewing human subjects on the reservation, we need to make sure that we're not only protecting them, but the tribe as a whole. So if that's done, we're well on our way on food sovereignty. And so I think the funding of that, if we could find sustainable funding for our food sovereignty or bridge funding until we can establish our own that's self-sustaining, would be great. I think that we're well on our way on one of our priorities, and we need to keep investing in it. So I think this will be a good way to look at things and our successes and document those and then build on them. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. We're really well versed with working with tribal IRBs.
How big is your team?
It's 11 of us. It's getting ready to be 13 of us, fully remote. I mentioned it's our 11th year. Yeah, it'll be 13 of us in a couple weeks.
Any other questions for Michael? Dana, you have any questions?
We're meeting with him today. It's more of, this is an introduction to us as well. To learn about what we. Sorry. This is an introduction for us as well. So we're hearing from the same as you, and we're exploring it and being as cautious as we need to be. And thank you for saying we're well on our way. It feels like I have so much to do yet.
Sir, could I make sure I have the email address or addresses that I would send what a template looks like for both of those studies?
Hey, Jen.
Yeah, I have Matea Grant right upstairs. I just called her. She would like to see you when you're done here.
Okay.
She's right by legal. Just ask legal. No, point you to her office.
Okay.
Anything else for Michael? Well, that sounds like quite an opportunity. I appreciate you coming in and advertising it to us.
Yeah.
We'll be in contact.
Thank you all.
I have something real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're just pretty much needing some kind of waiver, right?
Yeah, yeah. Basically a modification of the contract for time. Motion by Tom to approve modification 1 to task order 208. Second by Martin. All in favor? Glenn? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4. Glenn is opposed. Jennifer? Jennifer's out of the room. So it passes. What else you got, Dan?
Next up is a modification for task order 210. We call it CLIPS. It's concrete lighting, infrastructure, paving, and sidewalk, multiple locations. Just a little bit of delay in the Paulson project at the retreat, so everything else moving along well. 1 month extension from 9/30 to 10/31 for that. We discovered late that there was in terms of that retreat property, most of that is owned by CSKT, but there is a easement for just the bed of the roadway to the cemetery only, not necessarily the retreat. So a little bit of delay. We just paused in terms of the work on that property, on that privately owned roadbed, and just pulled everything back closer to the retreat, and then continuing forward with CSKT property, the parking lot, the pavement on the other side of the property. So a little bit of a delay there. So we're just requesting a 1 month delay or 1 month modification in terms of extending that period of performance for 210.
Cost extension,
No cost extension.
motion.
Motion by Martin to approve mod 1 to task order 210. Second by Tom. All in favor? We're unanimous with Jennifer. It's that time. Unanimous.
Yes.
Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, floating thumb. Yeah,
Lunch.
thank you, Dan, John.
When are you gonna start working on SK, the doer? Okay.
You want to add it, Elmo?
All right,
I think we can.
let's start. Okay. Okay, well, thank you.
John, we got another question for you before you get out of here. Go ahead, Martin.
Thank you. Hopefully real quick, basketball court in Elmo. Looks like it either shifted or they didn't fill the hole in all the way. I don't know if you've been who the contractor is, but I assume they could easily fix it.
I don't know. I can go up and look. I think that was under Lance. I think Lance had that.
What do you guys?
No.
Yeah, we got notice of it, either this weekend or beginning of the week. They're gonna go up and look and then have the contractor come back and fix it's right underneath the hoop, I think. It kind of settled down and made it crack, and so they're gonna patch that or redo that portion of it. But we have to have the contractor come up and look first.
Question.
Go ahead, Carol.
Do they always do that in cement?
What do you mean?
It looks like it's cemented in around the blacktop.
I think the hoop pole is cement, and I think the blacktop is the plain
Probably
surface.
has to be, because it
Yeah.
has to go pretty deep. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just looks shoddy. If they could cover that black with, yeah,
Yeah,
when they
Yeah.
get it.
they're gonna go up and assess it. I think Land's already sent a staff up there, but they're waiting for the contractor to meet
Tell
them up
them
there too.
to assess it, to
To
clean
fix,
it
to
up.
assess and fix, yeah.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, John. Morning. Welcome.
Yeah, so we're just here for a modification for an existing MOA for the White Swan project that we have with Lake County. So nothing, the total budget for the project hasn't changed, but the way that where that funding comes from, it has an expiration of December of the calendar year every year, so we just have to do a modification for the next year's funding. So that's all this is, and then changing primary contact information from Daryl to myself, and then moving the expiration date to the end of the fiscal year for that same funding source.
Go ahead, Len.
Yeah, I was just kind of curious to know on why. This is in regards to the whole project area. And I was looking at the boundaries and we missed two tribal home sites. The project area goes right next to them. And how I know that is because one of the home sites is mine.
Okay.
And if you guys seen my home site, mine needs the thinning the worst. You can see if a fire ever broke out right there, it would be really a disaster. But is there, at this point in time of the project, are we able to adjust the boundaries to include those two home sites? And I'm not sure if Cheryl Ellis, my neighbor, is interested in thinning out her home site.
So long story short, yes, there is opportunity to be able to move that project boundary. We're actually having some conversations now about changing the proposal a little bit. We're early stages of that, so we'll be back for that later
Yeah.
probably. But yes.
I mean, because we're only looking at maybe an acre on my
Mhm.
on my property, but still, it's one of those areas that needs to definitely be thinned.
Where's it at, Len? Is it
It
on
is
the,
on the north shore of Wymore Lake, and I would be the west home site, the westerly home site. And it's
Okay.
just right on the boundary of the project area.
okay. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how the boundary was designed. I know there was a couple, or at least one tribal lot that said that they didn't need any work. So there's one that we didn't include, but they had asked, they said they'd already done some work.
Yeah,
That's about all I know.
it just caught my attention because it's like, why are they working on Tracy Sharp's property and not mine? It's tribal dollars,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. So what Kaylee was alluding to is the proposal itself, we're not changing, but the EA, the CADX that we did for the project, so we're gonna extend the tribal portion that we were looking to do.
Okay.
We need a few more acres on the tribal side, so.
Okay,
Yep.
all right, well, just let me know when you guys can do a field visit and I can meet you guys out there.
Right out.
Martin?
Isn't, as an individual property owner, aren't we supposed to go through CT Camel to request thinning projects on our own property? Not through things that are funded federally or things like that?
Yeah, generally what'll happen, well, they happen a couple different ways. Sometimes I'll get a request and then I will send those to CT and CT will go out and do like a home assessment, gather information, and then they'll bring it back to me. And then from there, either it'll go to our program, or if there's overstory trees that they want removed, then that has to go through permits through forestry. But yeah, CT is involved. And a lot of times people will go direct to CT to do the assessment. It eventually will come back to me.
Carol, go ahead.
Chairman, I think the whole thing is that Len's a council member, and I think it's best just to maybe work through the department to make your request.
Motion by Martin to approve the modification. I have a second. Second by Tom. All in favor? Jennifer?
Yes.
I couldn't tell what you said, Jennifer. I think we're unanimous.
Yes.
Thank you. Tom?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Kaylee, you got a new job, huh? When did you move over?
My first day was May 27th, I think. So just a couple months now.
Huh? Cool. Wow, you guys really, geez.
Yeah. Well, you looking for a job? Daryl's a hiring.
You guys are looking. You got a good one there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
She's
Good for you
ornery.
guys.
She's ornery.
Yeah. She needs to spur you guys up. About time someone herded you guys.
Ron, you gonna tell us about your program?
Yeah, it's quick.
Please do it.
Yeah. So we've been talking about, you know, the new pay scale and this, that, and the others coming down the line. And talked about keeping you updated with what we know. And so we got an executive order, I want to say it was last week, a memo on the executive order 3443 issued by the Secretary of the Interior. And, you know, in reading this, you know, it's kind of starting to identify the path that these folks are wanting to go down. And they're calling it unification rather than consolidation, but the unification of the federal wildland fire program. And, you know, obviously we operate under a 638 with the BIA to run our program. So our funding is federal. We consider ourselves to be, we're tribal employees, but we run a federal program. And looking at the language that's coming out, you know, things are running pretty quickly. And knowing how this administration's worked, I guess what I've seen, things happen quickly. And so I went back to with like Shane Hendrickson. Shane used to be our agency superintendent, and at one point you read a memo and
you know, he's still our superintendent, but they've cut the lease, the GSA lease on his piece of property. So basically, you're not gonna have a place here pretty quick, Shane. And then the next thing you know, the DRP, and Shane took the DRP and the way he went. Same thing with Cheryl. And, you know, just looking at how things play out with this administration in terms of consolidation or unification, what it's going to look like for us as a travel program. We run a tier 4 dispatch center, and the rest of the world works under a tier 3. And it's something that we've defended for a lot of years, and we feel it's important. And reading on how they're going to go about this, I kind of feel like our dispatch center is up for grabs. I have some reservations about the aviation program. They're talking about consolidation of the aviation program. I just got off the national. I called the aviation lead to kind of get an idea of what they're hearing. They've got a meeting that's coming up middle of next month that they're going to talk about things specifically about aviation assets. He's looking for folks to be a part of a panel to help guide that in terms of a tribal perspective. And he asked if we would be interested in being involved. And it sounded like more not to be just understanding, but be ready to fight. So I kind of anticipate, you know, when you read this language in the executive order memo, it talks to us like cooperators as opposed to part of the program. They identify the federal entities, but they talk about tribes. In the same breath, they talk about states and counties and local governments. So I'm kind of curious of how they're going to view us, how we're going to be incorporated in this, what it looks like for us going forward. I do have a level of concern. No information. Again, this came to us, at least my copy came to us, not from an official source, just from someone. Someone said, hey, have you guys seen this? And I was like, no. And then we got one from the Department of Ag, kind of the same thing. Hey, have you seen this? The Department of Ag sent out a memo that mirrors this, but part of that is they invited the tribes to consultation. I think it was October 12th and 13th. Okay.
It's on the screen, Ron.
Oh, is it? Yeah. So they offered that up, which I thought was interesting. It's kind of after the fact, but it's more, I guess, information share, more at least reaching out and saying, hey, do you want to see what's going to happen here? Then we've seen with the Department of Interior. The memo that they gave has some very straightforward deadlines when things have to be in place. And it's anywhere from 30, 60, 120 to 180 days. It talks about the physical resources like aviation and vehicles, pay benefits, retirement, training, human resources, application of firefighting strategies, technology, early detection, modernization of communication, and different things. But it seems like that's the tip of the iceberg, but that's kind of where the focus is. And just 2 weeks ago, we got a data call for the vehicles that we have. And they talk about consolidation of vehicles, and I don't know, man, I'm scared of the dark. I believe in the boogeyman. And when I read that, and I knew, so they had us report all the GSA leases that we have. Every lease, all the I-plate vehicles. And we said, well, hey, do you want us to include the tribal vehicles? Because Daryl's bought 6 of those. I think we got a couple IA rigs and some other things. And no, we don't need that. We just want to know what GSA leases you have, what I-plate vehicles you have. And so we submitted that. So now they have an account for everything that's in our program. And I just flashed back to when they just told Shane, I mean, you can do what you want, but your lease is up. I don't know what this looks like going forward. I don't know if they'd cancel leases. I know when you hire people, you have to lease rigs to get them out in the field. If you're looking to reduce the force, you would cut vehicles because they no longer need. So you can look at this how you want, but all I know is we have got no information from the BIA. And we've asked plenty of questions. I'm always probably looking worst case. I mean, if it's beneficial, great. But I'm trying to look at what bad looks like and make sure that we're ahead of that. The other thing I've noticed is there's no tribal consultation at all. And I'm guessing this is going to have an effect on on our program. And I'm just surprised that like the regional director is not reaching out and talking to all the tribes within the Northwest about what this looks like. Because these deadlines are closing in. I mean, it's closing in quickly. I think we have to have within 30 days, all of the federal agencies have to talk about what this looks like in terms of how they see it going forward. So that's what, mid-October, kind of this meeting that they're talking about having and seeing if we want to be a part of. But I guess I'll leave it at that. Daryl, you've been on the cusp of this. I mean, we've had our discussions. Anything else you'd like to bring up?
No, I don't know anything. Ron's right. We're not getting any information. We ask a lot of questions, but there's no answers right now. So yeah, plan for the worst and hope for the best at the moment.
Go ahead, Carol.
Yeah, I think, have you been talking to Ryan Rushi at all? The lobbyist, I think it's good to, is he on? I think it'd be good for you to sit down with him and let him know, because he has the ability to maneuver through that system fairly well. So I think the first thing to do is touch base with him, if that's what the council wishes you guys to do. But I think that's probably the key right now, and then he can figure out the strategy and the path to try to get more information. So that's the first step I would,
Yeah, we could.
or even Jordan. But I think Ryan, include Jordan and Ryan together on that. But immediately Tony, where did Tony go?
I think I'd send them the information and let them read it, kind of get their feel, I guess, and then at some point have a conference call with Daryl and I with either one of them or
I
both.
mailed that to Tony, Ryan, Jordan, Dan, and all you guys.
Okay. I think you are well in your right place to be worrisome about this. If we lose control of who's making the decisions about our fire control, we'll be hiring our own contractors.
Oh, yeah, that will definitely lead into this. I'm pretty certain if it goes the direction we don't want it to go, we'd be operating, I think, out of Missoula Dispatch. I mean, just guessing that they would have operational control. So yeah, our dispatch center would be probably out of Missoula, and you know how resources get ordered up would have no tribal preference at all. And then, yeah, there's a lot of things that when you start really digging into it. Right now, I'm just, yeah, what's it going to look like? We talked about this. It's going to look, you know, geez, it looks like they like firefighters, but I was like, you know, I think at the end, this might be something that we regret. We'll probably wish we had the old days back, but yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Go ahead, Carol.
Yeah, I think we fought too hard to just not do anything.
Oh, yeah.
So we have to immediately start moving on this. And I think whatever we do, we fight for our people to be able to get on the ground, stay on the ground and work, and us to be able to drive that bus. Because when it starts getting out of our hands, we're definitely in trouble. And we're left out. And it's our land. I mean, it's our Aboriginal territory and it's our tribal land that we need to protect. So definitely whatever we can do, let's do it.
And as long as we're a 638 contract, we should have that control. We need to make sure of that.
And I've been trying to get into that, and I've noticed it's been hard to get into a 638. It's been hard to get people to talk to me about it. And the vibe I've got a few times is it felt like they want us to come back to the BIA. I mean, that's I mean, that's the impression I get. Like,
It's totally against our sovereignty.
right, it feels that way. I mean, they haven't admitted it, but I mean, the last conference call we had, I can't remember who was on there, but it was on the medical standards, because we can't do medical standards now for our people, for our program. It has to go through the region, which is different, way different. So that's like the tip. We're just seeing some dramatic changes. And I mean, we've been doing physicals for our people for years. And for us not to be able to have any part in that is kind of interesting. The
I
physical
would-
process is where, you know, I'll do a mitigation for someone. I'll do something. I'll work with somebody to get them cleared. I'm really afraid that the BIA is not going to want to work too hard to clear our folks, which again it's not what we want to see.
Well, it's totally against our 638 contract.
Yeah. So I did call Michael Garcia. No, he actually called me. I think he's a little upset with Ron. Got the vibe that he was pushing out money to the tribes because there's a short deadline. I told him I understand that. I get it. I'm good with that. But next week we'll have a discussion with Michael Garcia. You know, that 638, it's a statement of work, a budget, and a tribal resolution. And I've got a resolution that's developed. We'll send to Upton. We've got a budget we could submit, and I've built a scope of work. And I think after talking with Michael Garcia next week, I think we go forth and try to get into a 638. Ours expires December 31st. It'd be nice. Inside the scope of work, I talk about our dispatch center. I talk about some things, hoping that it's in the contract and that would have some leverage down the road. But I've included some things, hoping that it would be in the contract and signed off by the regional director, and therefore hopefully have some weight or some clout.
Appreciate the update. And yeah, this is something we gotta get in the middle of. And demand consultation. Got to demand that. Any other questions for Ron or Daryl or?
Beautiful. Lamb lunch.
Congratulations, Kaylee.
Can we go on break before we have Nkusum coming?
We will take 5-minute break. 10-minute break. 10-minute break. Squex, Stephen, and Kusum. Welcome, everybody. We're ready.
Okay. Could you hear me?
Can hear you.
First of all, before we get started, I'd like to say a little prayer for us for our trip down here from Kusum. Looked up them for this year, get the up to Kusum, because we can them to open. What say you can как спеше, ксэн уулгүй, как скамгамэ туч чупен. Шэйчуис чучау чуктупе, чукозинцутен, как сос сквахуй ячва, как санпиетси. Short prayer for today, because I'm a short guy. So you could sit back down. First of all, before we get started, I want to say a little thing about we want Pondereys to be mentioned from now on in, you know. The Pondereys were here before the Salish and Kootenai. I want that on record. So today, because my grandfather Alexander told me, Pete Beaverhead told me, my mother told me, so a lot of elders told me so. That's what I want for today. And I'm happy to be here. I'm not here to bawl you guys out. I want to be happiness. Okay, we're going to get started. Uiwash.
Lem Labs, Lem Labs.
Lem Labs, everybody. Good job.
Great drum, sounded so good.
Is your microphone on?
One old man up there, you had to use that. I can't hear you, just like me. Okay, could you hear me? I'm sorry, I said that because I'm going to run for councilman, so I was just joking you, I'm not running. But anyway, we're happy. Would like to invite you guys again to the in Kusum building. That's you guys' building, you know. We really set it up, you know, and we got a few things we're going to do this fall. Got some husks. We got some husks and what do you call it in Suyapi? The loving. If you eat that, you fall in love, you know. So you better eat some. So anyway, excuse me, we're here to come and talk to you and I'll let Cheney talk to you about what he wants, not me. He wants, and I'm happy to be here. And I'm happy for the children. They're happy. We're back here again and next Friday is going to be, is it next Friday? We're going to have that meeting at the Longhouse. Who's coming?
I don't know if you've seen the culture committee is hosting a language gathering. They're bringing in Chris Parkin and Larray Parkin to do a little training, all day training.
And that's going to be all day, right?
Yeah, all day next
Okay.
Friday.
So anyway, I'll let Cheney go ahead and because I might.
You were gonna thank them.
Oh, yeah. And I would like to thank you for helping out for Seuss, one of our students, you know, for taking care of our, she was a good teacher up in Kusum, you know. It was kind of really hard for us, you know, for one of our teachers to go. Teachers are hard to find, you know. They're to come work for us, you know. So anyway, we had a bigger building and more monies and our monies are down here. I guess you could understand in language, and the high school is up here, you know. So anyway, when we finish down there, they jump right up there, you know. They want more monies and more pay, you know. So anyway, that's where we're at today. And we're proud of our kids. They learn how to talk Indian and our teachers and a few of our students come back and worked at Nkusa. And I was very proud of that. So anyway, we got to have this thing going because Cheney doesn't know how to talk from your spoons. I joke. I like to pick on him, you know. You know, last night I'm 86 years old and I was cutting wood. Just think, you know, I should be in a rest home, right? Yeah. So anyway, I'm glad to be here with you and with you, Councilman, and and uh, and if you're nice to me today, I'll vote for you again. You ready? Oh, wakuksta na.
Lemlem Stupin, Lemlem Skodesiak, Huitzul Luka, Old Kushilt, Lemlem Skodse. Just give, you know, thank you for your continued support of Nkusum, of everything that you do for language, for all of our people. You know, especially to us, you know, we're biased a little bit, but the language to us is just, it's so important to who we are. And we're just thankful that we're able to do our best to do what we can to help bring it back and keep it alive. So we're just going to share a few things. The main thing is our audit that we thought was going to be done. It's not quite done, but I'll get to that. This first thing, we had a canoe journey coming up and we canceled it. We had a death. And that's been pretty tough to have to go through that for, you know, I mean, everybody knows how difficult death can be. And we've had counselors in yesterday, and then last week we had some counselors in with our kids. And we're just doing some different things with the class that Susa Lee taught in to just help the teacher out that's in there. We have a sub that's in there the next 2 weeks. Teachers were just having a hard time even advertising that job. So we're just going to take 2 weeks and kind of just catch our breath, I guess, and work through it and kind of figure out how we're going to fill that position. But, you know, we're working through that. It's been tough, and we are thankful for the support of council. The community really came together for Susa Lee, and she was such an awesome person. So love for that. But we did cancel our canoe journey. We have
been doing our best to bring the canoe culture back. You know, the upper Cuddly-Sped people were well known for canoes and a specific and distinct style of a canoe that we haven't brought back that canoe style yet, and we're hoping to do that. It's a blunt nose sturgeon, but we've created a couple dugouts, and we just got a new canoe from a Skokomish tribal member that made us a canoe that's safer and bigger for children. And that was our plan, to get all of our canoes out. But we're gonna look at something this coming summer, and we'll just keep you informed and when that happens. So then we have our schedule. We wanted to share that with you. And so on the schedule, there's a lot of different things that go on, but some, like 2 weeks ago, we did husks and liti, and that's what we shared some of that with you. This Wednesday, we're going up to the Camas Bake up at Eva Paul Ranch that Myrna Dumontier is hosting. Our kids are helping clean the moss for that. Thursday, we do a mini powwow, and we try to do a mini powwow every other month. And that's just a way to, we do half a day mini powwow. We let all the kids dress up and get their outfits on, and we do a grand entry and just replicate a full powwow. So kids that don't understand or haven't been around it, they get to see it. And Steven usually MCs it. And we do it right before lunch, so then it goes right into lunch. That's this Thursday. October 3rd is a culture day. We do those on Fridays, and we do it once the first Friday of every month, and we invite our parents in and to do anything they want culturally. We'll do language to making things, but the biggest thing they work on is dance outfits. And we provide all the materials and stuff to help them with that. We have our hunting camp coming up October 7th through the 9th. And that is, we don't really go hunting, but we kind of replicate a hunting camp. And I think we were thinking about being at Vanderbilt camp, but someone just told me that they were working up there. So we're going to look into that. We might have it at the Eva Paul Ranch. We're not sure yet. But we dry meat. Somebody usually brings us a deer. We've had kids in the past. If they've never got a deer or their parents agree to it, we might take one student out or two students out. I'm not sure if we're bringing any students out this year. But we do a lot of activities, and they camp up in the mountains. It's a pretty good moment. November 26th is our fall feast that you're more than welcome to come if you have the time open. December 19th is our Squidloomped feast, our coyote stories. That's kind of the Christmas dinner, but we call it a Squidloomped feast, where we tell coyote, the students will do a coyote story, and then we eat. So those are some upcoming events, and then you got our schedule if you're curious about anything we're doing this year.
I'd like to say a few things about that culture days, he writes a grant, and when they get the grant, then we get all the kids, the students, I should say, they all got outfits, they all dress up and they practice dancing and drumming. We got 2 sets of drums now with our children, with our students, and they both they sing and all that. So about Camas, that takes about 3-4 days. If you guys know about that, it takes a lot of time to cook that and go get the moss and clean the moss up and all that. So, and the kids do all the cleaning at our school. And so anyway, and they do hunting, and they dry meat, and they go and a buckskin. They fix all that stuff. We try to put our Indian traditional ways with the children. So, okay, go ahead.
Lemon Steepen. So moving to our audit, and This is something that within our agreement with the tribe that we're supposed to provide on a yearly audit, and we're behind. And so we want to apologize for that. And what happened was the person on our side that was helping with it, they left in Kusum. Then we got someone else starting to work on it. Then the person on their end left. And so it just kind of got lost for a quick second. But this one is for the 2022-2023 audit. And it took a little while, but they're starting on our new one right now. And so they're hoping in about 4 months that one will be done. So and then we'll be caught up. And so this one, it says draft, and I made my appointment for council because they said the final will be done. Sign this. They sent me a signature thing, and it'll be ready in a couple of days. And this was about 3 weeks ago, and they're waiting on a question, and they said it's something new that they're putting in our audit, and of how we show the improvements on the building, because we lease the building through the tribe, but we've made improvements on the building. They're asking somebody within their organization how that will go into the audit. It's something new that they're going to add. We haven't put it because we've been doing in the last about 5 years quite a few pretty big updates on the school. A lot of monies went through the school to do those updates, so they want to show that, and they're figuring that out. That's the last thing. A big thing that's new though in this audit is our Montana Community Foundation endowment, and that's what this book is. And inside of it, they put in Kusum as one of the showcases in this 2024 annual impact report. And there's a write-up about us. It's kind of sad for us because part of the write-up's about Suicide Lee, and so it's kind of.
Did you give them a book on
Yeah, they all got
it?
one.
Okay.
And, it was kind of a cool thing for Suicide Lee to went through our school and to come back and be the lead preschool teacher. And that's kind of, we talked about that in this, but. So we started an endowment with the Montana Community Foundation. I don't know if is everybody familiar with what an endowment is, and what about the Montana Community Foundation? They're a Montana organization that nonprofit that has set up funds to help nonprofits in Montana to start endowments, and it's just a way for us, we have about 50,000 in there right now. We've received our first check from that endowment. It wasn't a lot, but when we first started in Kusum, it was one of our goals to create a way that we don't have to rely on the tribe. But, we have for a lot of years, but our hope is that one day, we can provide a lot of our own funds through an endowment. And so we're slowly started that process of raising that money. It's a little bit at a time, but we just want to show our funders and the tribe and our school, the families that this is long-term. When I'm not there, when we're not even part of Kusum no more, that we want money to be there for our language and for our children. So that's part of why we started the endowment, and it's slowly getting there. And so that's a new change in our audit that will be showing up in there. They talked about one thing that if you look through it that might stick out is when you get a multi-year grant that they put the full amount into the audit. So it kind of can look weird to some people because you got all this money, but they're adding the year 2 or year 3 into this audit to show that all that money's there. They said that when they did a presentation to our board and to our staff, and they said the best thing that they see with our audit is that every year we spend out our money, that we create a budget and we spend that budget to exactly how we're saying we're going to spend it. And that's been really good over the years for all of our audits. Some things we need to work on in this year's audit is that we need a whistleblower policy and that we're behind one audit. that those two things popped up as issues. So we need to get this one done and start the next one and then develop a whistleblower policy, which we're working on right now. We got an example from SKC and from another nonprofit organization to give us some examples. So we're working on those two things. But I don't know if there's any questions. I don't know if you had a chance to look at this audit. Our plan is when we get the final draft, hopefully in the next week or so, we'll send it to Ruth. And if she has any questions for us or for council, I'm sure she'll bring it to you. But other than that, there's nothing that really sticks out too much in the audit that we've seen or when the presentation happened that they brought up.
Questions for the audit? We appreciate the report, Janie. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Yeah, thank you for coming in. Thank you, Stephen, and for your words. And thank you, Cheney. You're always so inspiring to me, the work that you've done in our community and the positive difference that you made. And you're young. You're still young. You're still a baby. And I just really appreciate that. And not all of us are language speakers, but I want to do what I can do to support the language speakers and to support this in our community because it's really important. And you knew my grandma, she was a fluent speaker and she was very private. She was not involved in the culture committee. She wasn't involved in a lot of public things, but she knew a lot. And and I most often heard Salish spoken when people didn't want us to know what they were saying. They were talking about us probably. And but it's a beautiful thing that you're doing. It's a beautiful thing that you're doing for generations of our community. And you're a good person and a good role model. You have a lot of integrity. Thank you.
Go ahead, Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Cheney and Stephen. Yeah, really, really a tough loss. And if there's anything else we can do going forward, I don't know if you guys have like a grief counselor or things like that down there, just to talk to the kids that are, specialized in dealing with adolescents. Yeah, it's a tough loss for our whole community, and yeah, it's gonna be a tough one going forward. So yeah, please reach out if you guys need more assistance on that or help going forward. So,
Yeah, we've had tribal health has been pretty supportive in helping us with a counselor. So much, Martin.
Go ahead, Carol.
It's been a tough loss for all of us. So I can't even imagine how the students are handling it. And, I seen this young lady at graduation last year giving out the diplomas and stuff, and she spoke and just so impressed and then just so saddened by this huge, huge loss. So I can't even imagine how students are dealing with it, but whatever we need to do as a tribe, certainly try to help out. And replacement is hard, but we always have somebody that'll step up and step in. So anyway, thank you for taking care of them that way because I think that's so important.
Much, Carol.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm up to Cheney, Stephen. Good report, good audit. Look forward to the next one. Look forward to the continued support of the tribal council. And I look forward to seeing those canoes in the water. Yeah, and I echo everybody else's comments. Anything we can do to help out and move on, move forward, and but also remember, what a good person she was. And yeah, it's a tough loss. Yeah. Anyway, much. Thank you.
Tom.
I got Jimmy and then Carol.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. I just want to say thank you to you and Stephen. You guys do an awesome job with those kids, and and the background, the field trips, those kind of things, to me, you know, they're pretty awesome to see those field trips because they go out and they learn something and it's hard to keep up with them, but it's fun to go. You know, I enjoyed a couple trips with you guys and I like to do some more and I just want to say love much to you for everything. But during this week or 2 weeks that we're going through right now, but you do a great job. Love much.
Love much, Jimmy.
Go ahead, Carol.
Maybe we could name something for her because of her. I mean, she started in the school, she came up in the school, and then she came back and taught, got her education, came back and taught us. Maybe there's something that we can name in that school, or maybe even the school. I don't know. She comes to that level for me, just because we hope all of our students come back and teach and do the
Exactly.
same thing she did. And she was such of a good person. I mean, you just tell by the people that showed up. But I would like to, maybe you guys can suggest something, you know. I would like to see that done for her. She was such a wonderful person. Thank you.
Una, I think we'll keep that in mind for sure. And some way we can honor her. Then I do have some, Jimmy was talking about our field trips and I just do want to bring that up because I've heard things. And just so you know, the money that we get from council goes directly into teaching our children the language. When we take, we do a lot of big trips, canoe trips. We go to the Buffalo Jump. We do a 1 week summer trip every summer. And that's been from a grant that I've wrote and a very generous foundation that supports us. And that's how we pay for all these really cool things that we do. And so we're thankful for them, but we do want you to know that not that those aren't important and that we wouldn't, you know, wouldn't want to do those anyways, but the money we get from the tribe, we directly goes to our teachers and to the students learning the language. And then if we can find money outside of that to do other things we do, just so you know, if anybody ever asks how we pay for those big trips, because when we do our summer trip, this last trip, we took over 102 people and we went to Hellgate Canyon pictographs, which is if you have a chance to go there, it's on the other side of Canyon Ferry Reservoir near Helena. Very awesome site. It's just a really cool place. And then after that we went to Madison Buffalo Jump, and then on our way home we hit some other pictographs. And so, but that's all paid through a grant that we've been getting for the last about 5 years. So yeah, just wanted to share that with you.
Thank you. Janie, do you?
Well, it's been 23 years, you know, 23 years. And that building there, it's going to last another 23 years, you know. And keep building on it, and we keep building on it. And not me, but we got contracts coming in, and it really looks nice, you know. You go in there, boy, everything's different, you know. It's beautiful in there. The outside might look ugly, but when you go inside, it's really nice, you know. And people come in there, and there's a lot of people come. And they say, how did you get started? We got the monies. How do we get started, you know? The language. We want the language. And I just tell them, just go ahead and start anywhere. We got the money. But how do we get the building? How? I said, just do it outside and just do it, you know. And our language is really tough. But they say they will, you know. And one time some Chinese showed up, 2 of them. They didn't have no somebody to tell them what I'm saying and what they're saying. But I sure know how to put my hands like that, you know. They stayed there for about 10 minutes. We didn't understand each other, but I sure know how to go like that. And they took off. that, you know, you guys keep smiling. You guys are our chiefs, you know. We come to ask you guys. Crying, Pete Beaverhead used to say, crying and laughter is the best medicine, you know. When people come in here, smile. Even if they bawl you out, if Stephen Smallsam comes in here, bawls you out, smile. Then you could go in the other room and cry. That's all there's to it. So thank you for letting us come in. And to me, it's a really an honor. You guys, that one's the one that got me in the movies, you know. I've been in 8 movies, you know. I remember when they had a can there, you know. So I'm glad for the councilman. I call you guys the chiefs. Not Ronan chiefs, but the chiefs. So thank you for letting us come in. J'aime spécial.
Thank you.
Jack hands. Hey, gone. We'll be here another 23 years. Okay. Oh,
Good morning. Come on up. Morning.
And Sarah, you can share your screen whenever you're ready to after the introductions.
Okay, thank you.
Morning, Tribal Council. This is MDT's update, and they have Sarah Nicolai on. And today we have Joel Boucher with MDT in person here, and I'll give it over to him for his update.
All right, yeah, thank you, council. Thanks for inviting us here today, having us here today. Sarah's going to be presenting on the most recent update for the US 93 Polson to Summers Corridor study. Sarah, go ahead and take it away.
Okay, thank you. And thank you so much to the Tribal Council for providing this opportunity to meet with you today. Can you all see my screen that I'm sharing?
We can.
Okay, very good. Well, wanted to provide an update on the US 93 Polson to Summers Quarter Study and Access Management Plan, as Joel mentioned. So my name again is Sarah Nicolai, Project Manager for Robert Petch and Associates, and we're the engineering firm contracted to assist MDT with this study. And also online, we have Jackson Lang, who is the Project Manager for the Corridor Study with MDT Planning. So I'm going to jump into this presentation, and we wanted to provide an overview again of where we are with the corridor study and then also the access management plan, and then we'll provide an update on the public review period. We are nearing the end of this study, so we appreciate this opportunity to give you these status updates. So I think some of this information will be a little bit of a reminder since we have met with the Tribal Council before, but just wanted to mention again that as a corridor study, this is very early in the planning process for MDT. So we are in this first left-hand side of this graphic here, and it's a planning effort that's conducted before design and construction. So if MDT were to identify any project or improvement that would advance from the corridor study, they would go through all of the project development and construction steps that are outlined in this figure. But for right now, we're on the left-hand side here, just in that early planning phase. We are anticipating to complete the study by October 2025, so at the end of next month. So we are nearing the end of this process. And just as a reminder for our study area, the study has focused on the portion of US Highway 93 between Polson and Summers. So shown here on the left, on the right-hand side in this graphic. Of course, a portion of that study area falls within the Flathead Reservation, and we're showing that in brown here. And so as we go through today, I'll try to point out elements that are relevant within the reservation. So in terms of our overall process that we've been using for this corridor study, we have gone through multiple steps in the process. And so first we developed a baseline understanding of existing and projected conditions. So that's listed here as task number 3, just to help us identify concerns in the corridor. Using that data, then we defined needs and objectives and identified improvement options that MDT and partners can pursue in the future as funding allows, and I'll touch on those with you today. We have compiled all of our work in a corridor study report, so that documents the process and the findings and the recommendations. As a supplement to that corridor study, MDT has also prepared an access management plan that provides specific access recommendations. Throughout the process, we've held multiple outreach events, and we've consulted with the tribes, counties, resource agencies, and the public. And I'll just mention that the CSKT tribal representatives that have participated with us in the study, first we've had an advisory committee, and we've had multiple folks from the CSKT participate with us. So Scott Johnston, the CSKT Roads Program Manager, Whisper Means, Fish, Wildlife, Recreation, and Conservation Manager, Richard Jansen, Natural Resources Department Director, Chauncey Means, Water Quality Administrator, Frank Acevedo, Shoreline Protection Program Administrator, Justin McCollum, 87A Field Technician, Patricia Corkane, Social Services, and then Vern Finley with the Kootenai Culture Committee. So all of those folks were representing the CSKT as part of our advisory committee. Additionally, we held some targeted stakeholder meetings, and this was back in February of this year, and we met with Janet Camel, the CSKT Planning Director, Velda Shelby, the Economic Development Director, and then Alfred Bigby.
The light or, light, they're evidently screwing everything up.
Yep.
So,
That's right.
Looks like thanks, Whisper, for joining us. And then lastly, Alfred Bigby, the Tribal Lands Department Director. So all of those folks have participated with us, and we greatly appreciate everyone's participation from the CSKT in this process. So I want to move next to talking about the report organization for our corridor study. So as I mentioned, we are nearing the end of this process, and MDT has published a draft study report that you can view on the website. For a brief overview, if you haven't had a chance to take a look at it yet, would recommend taking a look at the executive summary. It does summarize the entire report, and it's located at the beginning of the corridor study. For more detail, you can take a look at each of the chapters, and I'll step through these here in a couple of slides. We do also have a number of appendices that go into even more detail where we have technical memos, and one of those is the access management plan. And I mentioned that that is a supplement to the study. I'll go into a little bit more detail on that as well. So just stepping through our chapters, the first chapter is just an overview and an introduction, talking about our study process and introducing the study area, giving a little bit of background about planning in the area and other projects and studies that overlap with our study. Chapter 2 focuses on engagement. And I mentioned that we've had a lot of coordination with the tribes. This is our third presentation to the Tribal Council. We've also had coordination with the Tribal Historic Preservation Office, tribal elders, and then we've had a number of public outreach events as well. So all of that information is summarized, and those activities are summarized in this chapter. Chapter 3 then focuses on the natural environment. And so we have a summary of resources that are present within our study corridor, and especially focus on topics that may affect future transportation project development. We do have an appendix that's an environmental scan that goes into more detail, but within the report itself, we have a high-level summary. Chapter 4 then focuses on the transportation conditions within the corridor. So we look at things like safety and traffic operations. This is a screenshot just from the page talking about geotechnical conditions. Rock slide areas, for example, and other geotechnical conditions, but just trying to get an understanding of the transportation features and conditions and challenges within our corridor. Chapter 5 then takes all of that information, the baseline environmental and transportation information, and we identify a set of needs and objectives. So the things that we're trying to accomplish within the corridor. And we're focused primarily on safety and traffic operations to try to make some improvements in those areas. From there, we've identified a set of improvement options, and we outline those in Chapter 5. We've grouped those into a couple of categories. So we have some spot improvements, and those are focused on a single location only. We have some corridor-wide improvements that are addressing multiple locations throughout the corridor. And then we also identify policy improvements. And within the Flathead Reservation, I'll just note a couple of those. So one of the improvements is located in the jetty area, looking at flattening some side slopes and assessing passing zones. In Big Arm, we're looking at constructing a two-way left turn lane in the center of the roadway, and then reviewing passing zones there as well. In Elmo, we've identified a number of pedestrian improvements. So this would be looking at installing an updated flashing beacon and also some accessibility accommodations. And these are at Skookum Drive and Cemetery Road. And then at Montana 28 intersection, looking at the potential for a future enhancement to traffic control. That could be a signal or a roundabout. As that area develops, we understand that there's a future fueling station and convenience store that is planned to be developed in that area, and that might warrant additional traffic control in the future. So all of that information is summarized in Chapter 5. Chapter 6 then addresses some other considerations. So looking at how landowner coordination and future growth and multimodal considerations, and then funding, of course, costs, how all of those will play into implementing the improvements that we've identified for the corridor study. So that's a high-level overview of our corridor study. And again, that report is posted out on the website. Next, I wanted to touch on the access management plan and provide an overview of that document as well. So again, this is a supplement to the corridor study that MDT has developed, and we are focused on improving safety and facilitating traffic flow on the highway by managing existing and future access in a consistent way. I want to note too that this is a guidance document only, so it's not indicating that MDT will go out and construct any of these changes or improvements right away. It's more to be used as a guidance document for MDT and the tribes and the counties and partner agencies as development or redevelopment or new highway construction projects occur in the future. So again, a guidance document only. So in terms of access management, one of the things that we are trying to do is limit conflict points. And we have a generic figure here on the right-hand side that's showing a mainline highway running up and down vertically, and then a horizontal approach intersection. And what we want to show here is that at every one of these intersections, a number of conflicts occur or can occur. And so every one of these red dots is a potential conflict location between turning vehicles on those two roadways. And we want to try to limit those conflicts to improve safety on the highway and on adjoining roadways. So a couple ways that we can do that. We can provide separation between the conflict areas, reduce interference with through traffic, and then provide sufficient spacing between intersections. And I'll go into a little bit more detail on what that might look like. So we've got some generic figures here showing how we can look at access management. These are all labeled as businesses, but they could be residents as well. And so there's some type of development here off of the highway that might have two access points. One thing we might look at is eliminating or consolidating access by removing one of those and just only providing a single access to that development. With all of these examples, MDT is focused on maintaining appropriate access to the adjacent parcels, but again, trying to find some ways to improve safety and traffic flow. So a second example is where there are two adjacent developments, a business or a residence, and they each have access onto the highway. Perhaps there's a way to provide some type of frontage or rear access instead of direct access onto the highway. Another option might be where there are two adjacent businesses or developments on different properties. Maybe there's a way to provide a single access right on the property line instead of individual accesses onto the highway. And then we have a couple of other examples here at the bottom where we're providing side street access instead of mainline highway access, or maybe access through a parking lot or some other type of frontage. So again, the intent here is just to try to limit the number of approaches on the highway to limit those conflict points. In terms of implementing this access management plan, this will occur over time. So it's not going to happen right away tomorrow, but it might happen as new development occurs in the corridor, or maybe there are changes in property status where an owner sells and then a new owner redevelops or expands an existing development. There might be local initiatives and partnerships that trigger implementation of the plan. And then, of course, it's all dependent on available funding, both from MDT's standpoint and from local jurisdictions and private developers as well. So right now, there are no planned state or federal construction projects or identified funding that would have the sole purpose of implementing this plan. So again, this is very much a guidance document to help guide development in the future, and that implementation will occur over time. So I wanted to provide a couple of examples from the access management plan. This is just a screenshot of the table of contents. So we do have quite a few chapters on background information where we have the plan recommendations, which you might be most interested in, are chapter 7. And then we also have an appendix with some drawings to complement those recommendations. So in chapter 7, we lay out a table with recommendations for every single access throughout the entire corridor. And you can imagine there are quite a few. So we've numbered these sequentially. This is just a shot of the first several here. So starting out with access number 1 and going all the way down, there are 411 accesses within the corridor. Associated with each of those accesses, then we've identified the parcels that are served by those. We have the reference post or the milepost location within the corridor. The side indicates the left or the right side of the roadway. So if you have Flathead Lake on your right-hand side and you're looking to the north, that's would indicate the left or right side. We've categorize these as private, joint private, or shared, or some other type of access. And then the last two columns are where we provide the recommendation and then a description of what that access serves. So in some cases, we're recommending no change at all. Some of those we're recommending some type of change, maybe to realign. In some cases, close some of those back to those examples. So we're still maintaining reasonable access, but there might be some duplicate access points where we're able to recommend a closure. And all of these are detailed in this table. Then in our appendix, we have a number of drawings that are showing aerial images of all of the parcels and all of the accesses within the corridor. And these are color coded. So blue is indicating a private approach. We have public approaches in purple, a field approach in orange, and then the shape indicates other information about it. So a square is a right in, right out. This shape here is a joint use. We've got the parcel numbers labeled, kind of an oval shape in the white. It's a little bit hard to see here, but those correspond to all of those numbered parcels in the table. And then the numbers for the access also correspond to the access numbers in that table. And so this is just an example here. We do have 51 of these sheets showing all of the accesses within the corridor. But just as an example, this is one where we're recommending one of these be closed and realigned. And the rest here initially are no change in those. So recommend that you take a look at these access recommendations if you haven't had a chance already. This access management plan is also posted online. So wanted to touch next on the public review period that MDT has been hosting. So beginning July 21st and extending to September 19th, so the public review just recently ended, we were inviting comments and feedback on the draft reports. And again, this is the website where those reports were posted. In terms of outreach, MDT did a wide range of notices through social media and newspapers. We also sent out an email to our entire study contact list. And then we also sent out certified mailings to every single property owner within the corridor. So every one of these parcels, the listed property owner received a certified mailing to notify them that the access management plan was ongoing. We've had a really good participation, so folks have been contacting MDT by email and phone and using the online commenting form to provide their feedback about both the corridor study and the access management plan. And so we've been collecting all of those comments during this period. We're now at the point with this public review period closing, we're now at the point of looking toward finalizing the study. And so today's presentation is our final presentation to the Tribal Council. We've also recently met with Lake and Flathead counties as well to give this same presentation. So wanted to make sure that all of the officials are notified and aware of these plans that are available. So our next steps will be to address all of the comments that we've received during the public review period, and then our goal is to finalize the corridor study and the access management plan by the end of October. So that rounds out our presentation. We would be happy to take any comments from the Tribal Council or answer any questions that we can about the plans.
Very nice presentation, Sarah. Do we have any questions for Sarah or for Joel? I don't see any questions.
Okay.
Oh, we do have a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the council. So is there going to be opportunity for us to complete the walking path on this project, or is that something that we're going to be able to do prior to? I guess I'm asking you, Scott.
I think that'll be something separate. It's not really the part of the safety or the well, it is a part of the corridor, but well, he's talking Big Arm to Elmo path.
Yeah, so there's no construction that's coming out of this. What this is just a planning document for the highway. So anything that's additional, any walkways, shared use.
No, I'm aware of that, but I was just saying,
separate.
is there opportunity to include that in this project if we can get it done sooner than what we have planned?
In the study, you mean, I guess, is my question?
I mean, no, when they start the planning for the design.
Oh, so out of this, yeah, I think I'm understanding now. So there will be multiple smaller projects that come out of this. It's not going to be one corridor wide project. So it will basically what we'll do is we'll identify problem projects based off funding, based off, need, based off safety. So we might do, for example, Sarah mentioned the flashers at an intersection where that would be a project that would come out of this. Maybe a slope flattening project would come out of this. So it would be a smaller project coming out of this, and which most likely would not encompass the area of that walk path. So it'd be more targeted areas.
Thank you.
Okay. Well,
Anything else? Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Joel. Scott, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Can I make a long lunch?
Do you want a long lunch or did you want to go in executive? And Dan said he has a couple things that he could do before lunch and then pick up some
Let's
stuff
do that.
after. Can we go into executive?
We will go out of regular into executive.
So first, Mr. Chairman, council members, we have Christina's resolution for signing off on water rights withdrawals.
Motion by Tom, second by Danielle, to move forward with the water rights withdrawals and re-registering with the tribal water right. All in favor? We're unanimous.
Then next is just the rescission of the previous Dow contract modification resolution.
Motion by Carol to rescind the original Dow resolution, second by Martin. All in favor? We are unanimous, and now do we need another motion to the other resolution in place?
Well, this resolution does both.
Okay.
But yes.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you. We'll be back right after lunch. So.
Anything else before lunch? We will recess for lunch. Back at 1. So tell us about the first one again.
So we just need approval for a resolution for Earl Michelle to purchase his 150th interest in allotment 2104A.
Motion by Tom to make the purchase, second by Danielle. All in favor? Are you there, Lynn?
Yeah, I support.
Okay, we're unanimous. On to number 2.
Okay, and then Wyatt Ducharme is asking council to show disinterest in purchasing tract 4892 and approve his request to remove trust status for the purposes of selling on the open market.
Motion by Tom. Show disinterest in Mr. Ducharme's. Second by Jennifer. All in favor? We're unanimous.
Okay, and then the next issue is Robert Camel and siblings would like council to show interest in purchasing the home and tract 1036 or approve them to take the land out of trust and put it into fee status.
Is there any interest in purchasing the property? If not, I'd welcome a motion to show disinterest. Do we have an appraisal on this property?
Yeah, 360,000.
For a house and 2 acres.
Yeah.
We either show interest or disinterest, one or the other. I don't know. I don't know this house.
It's not irrigated, no.
But is it a headache if we buy it?
For us, it is.
It's it's right on the the main road. Grizzly bears in the backyard. It's 2 acres. It would be a nice family home for somebody. Well, I'm surprised they advertised this, and
Yeah, I was surprised too, because
was there a limitation of tribal credits? Someone getting a loan or anything? Because things have been frozen over there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought this one would, I know we kind of gave information to a few people, but there just wasn't a lot of interest, like in a lot of them lately, so.
It'll be available again.
No, this isn't, this is Alice's house.
Yeah,
No, it's a home. It's a stick home.
it's like a little, like light green colored.
I don't know if Henry
Yeah.
built it or what. I can't remember.
Yeah,
There might be a trailer by it, but the oldest sister lives out at the end where you turn to go to, yeah, for the canal.
I'm coming down on the side of showing disinterest. Every property will show up again to the council in the future sometime. Enough to have interest on?
I'm biased. I mean, it's Alice's house. I just like, I can't believe that they want to sell it, but
My first one?
360.
that works.
Is it irrigated land? No, just joking.
Got a lot of potholes around it.
Some skunk cabbage nearby. No, it's, you know where Charlie lives? Just past Charlie's, it's on the left. Yeah, where else? It's Alice's house.
Yeah, it's Alice's old house.
Or do we put it off and make the decision later? Go ahead, Martin.
I don't want to keep, I mean, the family's been waiting quite a while for this, so if it's not in the budget, we would have to, I would say show disinterest and make a motion to that effect.
Motion by Martin, show disinterest. Do I have a second? Second by Carol. All in favor? Danielle? Yeah? Lynn?
Yeah, I support.
Okay, we're unanimous.
Okay,
Disinterest,
okay.
and sell it.
And then the next issue was, the Dupuy property. And if council wanted to buy 20 acres at a time or all 60, or do the contract for deed for the 60, if you guys wanted to show interest in purchasing or show disinterest.
Thoughts?
Given the quantity of trust land in this situation, I'd favor showing interest in it, but it's me.
We can get it on a contract.
Yes.
Got a motion to show interest and a second. All in favor? Lynn? Okay, unanimous.
Okay,
Now are we gonna buy Wanda's and rent art ever?
Chairman?
Bunch of no head, shaking heads, no. Len, go ahead.
Yeah, I would make the motion to show interest in purchasing the property at appraised value and do a contract for deed.
We don't have an appraisal on this one, is what I understand.
Yeah, yep, that's
So Len's motion is to show interest and hopefully find out what the appraised price is. So there'd be some work done. What's that? So I got a motion to show interest in the property, and that's not necessarily showing interest in leasing back, so. Do I have a second? This one dies for lack of a second.
Okay. And that's all I have today. Can I what? Maybe.
That's all you have for
Yeah.
action items,
Yeah.
correct? Which building? Hmm?
Okay. I can switch Rachel line.
Yeah, I was just wondering, is that's it for,
That is all for motion items.
we'll go out of regular back into executive.
Fire alarm.
We are adjourned.